so many of us have let life bring us down, and we let life defeat us. And and I learned that it doesn't even matter how much knowledge and wisdom you go out and seek into the world. You could have all the answers and still find it difficult to get up and make something of yourself and become who God sent you here to be. Hi, my name is Zuli. I am an artist. I paint, and for a while I've been wanting to make some videos, and this just seems like the perfect time to just kind of delve into what I've been feeling and the thoughts that I've been having or consuming my mind rather. And I really wanted to make this video yesterday, but I'm not really sure I have a legitimate reason why I didn't. Um, but then today came, and just the way the day has been going, the purpose for the video just became louder and louder and louder. And just the way the universe has been making everything make sense in order for me to make this video. So I was just like, you know what, let me brush my hair and let me, make the video. So with that being said, I've been going through a lot, like mentally, for a long time. Um, One thing that I think I've been noticing online, whether you're a woman or a man, is a lot of us kind of have lost, um, we've lost like a sense of ourselves in a way, like just from all of life experiences that we've had throughout the years. It's slowly been hammering away at all the things that make us who we are. And that was on my mind yesterday because for a long time now, subconsciously and consciously, I've been trying to get back to myself. Like like when I think about me, I think about the girl that I was before my first heartbreak, and all those tumultuous times that I went through thereafter that kind of just continued to dim my light and dim my personality, because I was lively. Everyone who knows me is like, she's, all love and all these things, and I'm just a happy person overall. But I slowly been turning into like this very gloomy, sad person, and I'm the type of person also that excuse me, I work on myself constantly. Like, I may not be consistent in many things in life, but one thing that I can look back on for the past 10, 11 years is that I have always um, put evolving and figuring out my flaws, my weaknesses, and my strengths, and really working and tailoring myself. And that's like something that's just remained consistent in my life. And I'm at this point where it's like, okay, like I have the information, I've done the work so many times, and I'm still doing the work. But I think I've gathered enough information. I think I've delved super deep into myself, in my mind, in my spirit, in my emotions, in my memories, like just all of the things that I should be at the point where, okay, what's next? Like, what do I do with this information? And even that, I feel like I know what to do. But I guess it just, because back to those life experiences, um, I've developed a lot of fear around just being myself because I am one of those people or women that um, I never really had the right people around me, um, for the most part. Like, I'm gonna be 31 next month, August, and I look around and I don't really have anyone in my life, and I haven't had anyone in my life for quite some time now, and that makes me sad. But I know at the same time that it's supposed to be this way, because when I look back, you know, I knew that the friendships that I had were not real friendships. Relations that I had did not serve me, you know, and I took the lesson that I was supposed to learn, and I moved on with my life, and then it helped me to, you know, kind of approach things differently. But I don't know if it's because of age and getting older, it's just a little harder to make genuine friendships. Um, but the purpose of this video, because I could just really go on about so many things like friendships, relationships, family, you know, just all of the things. But back to what I was originally saying about coming back to myself. One one thing that I noticed, if we're gonna talk about consistency, is I have always been a deep person. It's not something that I ever force myself to be. I never, you know, I'm not deep because of anything, of any for any reason at all. It's just who I am naturally. Um, I see things from a different lens, and I enjoy it. I'm a person, I like to believe that I'm someone who can place myself in different people's shoes, and I have an open perspective, and you know, I'm not judgmental or any of that. I just really love diving deep into different topics and emotions, especially, and in the spirit. And I think that comes out, not think, that definitely comes out in my art. And I've had people really love the art that I create, and then I've had people that comment on my art by saying, that's too deep. Like, girl, you are too deep, you know, and it really rubs them the wrong way. And and I think at a certain point that really started to bother me. I was in my art and outside of my art, where people would comment on my depth, so much so that it made me feel bad. Like, I don't want people to feel like I'm putting something in their face that they haven't necessarily dealt with themselves and feel discomfort. So I noticed, or I finally came to the realization, I had this epiphany where I realized, like, I'm a deep person. That's just who I am. And I've let people convince me to not be who I am. And as much as we like to believe that we don't let others dim our light, I fell into that. I started to dim my light and dim my depth because it made other people feel uncomfortable. Because I opened the door to something that they weren't necessarily ready to address. And for me, it's like, I'm ready, let's do it, you know? And it's exciting for me to do, to just open those doors, because it doesn't mean anything drastic to me. It's more of like, it's truly an excitement to like understand the deeper side of our emotions and our thoughts. And I understand the weight of that too. Like, I understand that it's difficult to face your deepest emotions and traumas. And so I guess that part of me that's empathetic didn't want to like cause discomfort to whoever was on the receiving end of that message. And I really, really started to believe that maybe I was a problem for doing that, or I just took it too seriously. Like, I took other people's discomfort too seriously, or that's what I'm gonna say now because I don't really know, but I guess you can say I was people pleasing for all this time because I would start to make things that that or not necessarily because the paintings that I make don't even come from me. Like, there are very few pieces of artwork that I've made that were actual like thoughts that I came up with myself. The majority of my art comes from a deeper source. Like, I can be sitting right here and be inspired by something, a memory or whatever, and an image will pop up in my mind, and I know that that was God that's like telling me this is your next painting. This is what you should be painting next, and I'll write it down or I'll sketch it. So I know that my art comes from God, and essentially it comes from a place beyond me. So when people say that my art is deep, it's like, oh, excuse me. When people say that my art is too deep or I have like too much depth, people don't understand that it's actually coming from what made us. Like, the thing that you're afraid to address when you're looking at my art, whatever, in whichever way it's speaking to you, is not me opening that door. That's God. Like, because that's what it like. That's God speaking to you, seeing you, and He uses me as as a tool to get to His people, and that's something that I have to be okay with. Like, I have to finally accept that because I love it. I enjoy it. It's my passion. So I don't receive it in the way that other people receive it, especially the people that find discomfort in it. Um, and it's just so interesting. And a little background on that, too. My first original art piece was me praying to God for help because I didn't know how to pray, or at least that's how I felt. I felt like I didn't know how to pray. Like how our grandmothers pray, our aunties pray, our moms pray. Like, I felt like if I, in that moment, prayed to God, it just wasn't potent enough to get to His ears. So, because I'm a deep person, it was easier for me to paint a picture and have that conversation with God through an image. And I would say that's when I knew that this is something that I have to do um, for myself to get myself out of that funk that I was in after experiencing some very traumatic um, life experiences. And it did help me. It helped me. I felt like God heard me, and and it wasn't until recently because I'm working on a piece right now, and one day I was looking at it. I was looking at this piece, and it's just so similar to a previous piece that I painted a couple years ago. It's so similar. And I didn't even realize it until a couple of days ago. I'm still working on it and it's not done. I was looking at it and I was like, wow, this is like the same thing. Like, it's two completely different pieces. They're nowhere near the same. but the message is there. And then when I noticed that, I started to think about all the other paintings that I've made. And it's like, oh my God, I'm having the same conversation over and like each painting is different, but it's the same conversation over and over and over and over and over again. And it's like, I think this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Because a question that came to my mind, I journal a lot, and I used to write a lot, but now I'm in like now when I write in my journal, I'm not necessarily writing out my thoughts, but I'm writing out questions that I feel, questions that come to me. And one of them was, how do I show up as the answer? And a few moments went by, and then I heard, you are the answer. You know, like how do I show up as the answer? Me being the answer. And I have to be honest, I'm still pondering on that and like what that means. Um, and actually, as I sit here and talk about it, I show up as the answer by sharing my art and being real about what my art even is. And it's just me being honest about my emotions, my spiritual journey, my life experiences, the lessons that I have learned. Because when I look at my art pieces, I just see a collective um, experience. It's like all the things that happen in my life and how I managed to put it all together and make sense of it in a way that helps me to heal and inject those lessons moving forward, if I'm making sense. um, and I think that's so beautiful. Like, I'm very grateful to even come to these realizations. And they seem so simple. And they seem so simple, and they seem like, well, duh, like, hello, like, why didn't you get that already? And it's like, that's the thing about simplicity. It's like there's so much more in simplicity than we give it credit. Like, something can sound or seem simple, but when you really sit down and try to understand these simple concepts and these simple conversations and feelings and whatever, it's it really requires a lot of thought. It really requires a lot of going in and seeing why you resonate with something, and just getting to the root of your thoughts, and how you even became to be who you are today, like in your mind and in your heart. And so I guess I can say that this video is really just me saying, I realize that my superpower is being able to go deep, and I've been doing myself a disservice of being afraid to be a deep person, just because other people either don't understand it, don't appreciate it, they don't want to go there, they're afraid. They don't accept it. They don't accept the depthness that they carry inside. Um, but as someone who was thrown into the deep end of the pool by that uncle, you know what I'm saying? I learned how to swim. That's how I learned how to swim. And I didn't drown, I didn't panic, but I found a way through. I swam underwater until my feet could touch the floor and I could come up for air. And I feel that that is who I am. Somebody who learned how to swim and how to get from the deep end to a space where I can breathe again. Okay? So I guess I say all that to say again, um, I don't feel like I'm alone in this. I feel like so many of us have let life bring us down, and we let life defeat us. And and I learned that it doesn't even matter how much knowledge and wisdom you go out and seek into the world. You could have all the answers and still find it difficult to get up and make something of yourself and become who God sent you here to be. Like, it's no easy task, although everything He gives us is simple. Um, but the heaviness and the darkness of life does it does make it challenging. Um, but I am very grateful for all the experiences that I have lived through and learned from, and it's such a special place to be in, because it's not easy to forgive the people that hurt you to your core. It's not easy to forgive those moments, and I feel like I've done that so many times with the same people over and over and over again. And I'm outside and there's cats throwing up hairballs. Let it out. Let it go. That's right. Get rid of it. But but it, like, none of those things are easy. Um, especially if you're someone who you wanna become someone great. And when I say great, I don't mean like I don't want to be a billionaire or whatever, but just like a great person. Like, you have great morals and standards for yourself in life, and you want to be a compassionate person to yourself and other people, and you want to just live in love and gratitude. You know, I I feel like, since, if I remember correctly, when I was about 16 or 17, this cat. When I was about 16 or 17, I believe God put this image in my brain. I had like a vision, if you will, of the type of woman I was gonna be in my future. And I always come back to that. Anytime a flaw of mine is magnified, I always think back to that woman that He showed me that I was gonna be. And I'm like, well, she wouldn't act like that. She wouldn't speak like that. That's not how she would handle this situation. And that's truly what has helped me evolve in the ways that I have in life. And I think as quickly, too. I always had that mental image of myself as that top tier woman that I want to be, right? And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I'm there. I feel like I'm there. It's just not in my reality just yet. But the work that I've done definitely makes me feel like I'm her. I just have to do this, I have to stop being afraid to be her. Because being her means being and accepting that I am a person of depth, and I care about the things that those deep things. Like, I just care about that. Like, I care about emotions, where they come from, you know, perspectives. Like, I care about all that stuff, and I have to accept that, and I have to live in that now, moving forward. And maybe somebody needed to hear that, because when I tell you I've been wanting to make videos for a long time, it's been a long time, but I just always was scared. Like, I'm very much back to what I was saying in the beginning. Like, when I was younger, I was full of life, bouncing off the walls, adrenaline on high, like just everywhere, all the time. But as I've gotten older, I've definitely, I mean, I was all of that, but somewhat reserved as well. But now I feel like I'm much more reserved, and people find me to be mysterious or whatever. But it's not even that. I'm still very much an open book, and that's another thing. I've never been afraid to talk about my experiences in life. But I wasn't just willy nilly like opening up myself to people. But if people ask me a question, I love to answer questions. Um, I don't know. I'm very picky in that way, very discerning in that way. Um, and I lost my train of thought. But I don't know, y'all. Like, I'm happy to be here today in this moment. And um, I don't really know what it took for me to get here. I just know it's been a long journey. And I'm not even where I want to be in life, like, at all. I'm nowhere where I want to be in life. And that's my own fault. Like, I take full accountability of that. From decisions I've made in life to, you know, just pretty much that's been the problem, my decision making. And, but one thing I am proud of, I'm proud of a lot of things, but one thing I am proud of is, although I didn't make the greatest decisions in life, one thing I feel like I did do a good job on was being a good person, you know. And for a long time, um, I felt like being a good person only brought people around me that were going to take advantage of me, use me, abuse me, or whatever the case may be. But the power has always been in my hands. Like, the ball is always in my court. And I didn't always listen to my intuition when I should have. So I would always stay in situations for far too long, which, as many of you know, cause really terrible outcomes that take time to get over and grow from and grow out of as well. Um, but I'm gonna end the video with saying this. It's okay that you don't know yet what you're meant to do in this world. That's not something that's easy to come by. Keep focusing on cultivating who you are. I think that's what essentially got me here. Just continuing to cultivate who I am. And accept who you are. Like, accept your personality. And the cliche of don't let people dim your light. Pay attention, be an active participant in your life so that people don't take advantage of you, or you yourself don't take yourself away from your path in life, because I would say that's my biggest mistake. And with that, again, my name is Zuli, and I'm an artist. I paint, and it was a pleasure sitting here in this moment, sharing those thoughts that I had with you guys. And I hope to do this again. I have much more to talk about, and I hope that my fear has been obliterated. So, bye, peace.